Monroe World.
Hi everybody, Shane R. Monroe here with Monroe World. We are at the Vintage Computer Festival. We're here talking to Jerry Parker, who's got an amazing story about restoring these amazing pieces of hardware. I'm going to let him tell you in his own words what he does and what sort of a journey he has captured for you on his blog.
Hey everybody, I am Jerry Parker and I do repairs of vintage machines. And the reason I do that is because I like to share the story of the repair journey. Everything on my table has been through my repair process, and you can see there's quite a different flavor and variety of these machines. And forgive me if my voice is a little hoarse, I've been talking a lot.
You're doing great.
So every machine has a story to tell, and every repair has a story to share about that repair. That Commodore 64 at the end of the table has a unique story. It was donated to me, or I bought it, from a gentleman at the last VCF show. He brought it in and said, they need a little help. And so I said, okay, fine, put it on my table. I didn't think much of it. I picked it up, shook it, and it rattled. And I thought, what is it, got sand in it? I wasn't sure. I took it to my shop, put it on the shelf, and a couple of months later, I opened it up, and it was a disaster inside. It was completely rusted out. It was, all of the boards were corroded and messed up, and it literally took me about 45 days to repair it. Maybe you can share some pictures as part of this blog. I'll share you my blog. Is that
excellent? I will put those on the B-roll.
That story is on my website for all to see about what I learned during the repair, what I did during the repair, and what it turned out to be. Once I go through that process of these machines, I bring them into the VCF show, I pass them on to other people who are interested, and then I buy more machines, or people donate more machines to me to go through that process again. It is what my passion is, telling the story of the repair journey for a machine that doesn't work at all to a machine that is working and operated and ready for somebody to love.
So if somebody has a machine that's in bad shape, they were interested in hiring you to repair it for them, do you do that sort of work?
I don't generally, but I do if the machine's going to be really interesting. As long as they're okay with me writing the blog,
sure.
That's really what the motivation for me to do the repair is. I can repair most anything, but I want to blog about that journey. That's my kind of shtick, if you will.
And I see this one is 3D printed. Is there an interesting story behind this?
So yeah, so I 3D. This is a publicly available 3D print file, and I 3D printed this. There's a Mac Mini inside, and I use it for a specific purpose. Because I do repairs, I also repair dumb terminals, and I needed a way to test those.
Nice.
So what I have are a bunch of serial ports on the back of this Mac Mini. And those serial ports allow me to connect dumb terminals to this machine, log into this machine, and test the terminals, test communication between them all.
That's very clever. That's very clever.
So in my lab at home, this machine usually has 4 terminals hooked to it, and I come and go with them. If somebody brings me something to fix, I'll plug it in there and make sure it's running fine before it goes out the door.
And where do you usually source your dead computers from to work on?
People reach out to me all the time from my website or here. In fact, I picked up a couple at this show where people brought them to me and said, hey, you want to fix this one? You know, so that's where this source from.
And I'm assuming that maybe the most interesting one that you've done is not on the table. What was the best story? What's like, I know you want them to go to the blog, but give us a little tease.
So the best story is actually on this table. It's the one I'm leaning against right here.
Ooh.
So this is a Heathkit, sold as a kit, and people would actually build this at home. This machine is both an 8 and a 16-bit machine. It runs 8-bit CPM, 16-bit CPM, and MS-DOS, and it's truly 100% PC compatible. I got it, and it didn't run anything 16-bit. It would only run 8-bit stuff.
Interesting.
And so I had to go through the repair journey to find out what that was all about. And that was quite the challenge. Today, I won't go into the details about what I found.
Oh, they can go to your blog for that, right?
Yeah.
They can see this whole one in here?
For the 16-bit. Different CPU for the 16-bit?
Yes, it is. Yes, indeed.
That's probably the problem, I guess.
No, it was an address bus problem. But,
Oh, okay.
But now this machine works fine. And I absolutely love it. If you notice, there's some other things that I do. If you look at that floppy disk on that side, that's not a floppy disk. That's a Gotek.
Very nice.
Beautifully printed.
The same thing is true on those. If you look at those, the bezels have been 3D printed to make it look like original equipment, but it's a Gotek underneath there. And so those are the kinds of things I do. I try to give them a little bit of an uplift. modern keyboards on Commodore PETs. I try to keep as much originality as I can and try to just keep its character alive.
That's a fantastic work.
Thank you.
You're protecting the past, and that's one of the mottos of my channel. So I'm glad we stopped by and saw you. This is really interesting, and your blog is at
It's at jerrylparker.com.
jerrylparker.com. Thank you so much for your time. It was a fantastic story. So appreciate you telling them again
Thank
the
you very much.
10,000th time.
And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. And
Absolutely.
comes by and looks at my blog. I appreciate that as well, because the story is everything.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see it myself. Thanks again so much.
All right.